Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I am Darren, I am your host, and today I have a great guest that's been on before, Mr. Max Good of AmazingRibs.com. He is known as Keeper of the Flame. He does all the barbecue, smoker, and grills reviews on Amazing Ribs. I'll be right back with Max Good.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Hey all, I want to introduce you to a company I just started working with, Fresh Jack's Organic Spices out of Jacksonville, Florida. They're a small, family-run company that's fast-growing. I've tried a bunch of their different seasoning blends and spices, and I can tell you they're all fresh, all organic. None of them contain artificial flavors or sweeteners. None of them have anti-caking agents or preservatives. They all taste like they were just made for you yesterday. Check them out, guys. They're on Amazon in the link below. They have different sample packs, different blends. Like I said, they also have the individual seasonings and spices as well. Fresh Jack's Organic Spices. Check them out, guys. I love them. Welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I am Darren. I am your host, and today I've got another great special guest, Mr. Max Good. He is the Keeper of the Flame at AmazingRibs.com. He does all their barbecue, grills, and smoker reviews, and I want to thank him for coming back. He was on last year, but as always, with all the stuff that changes every single year, there's lots of new stuff to talk about. Welcome back, Max Good.
Oh, great to be back, Darren. Thanks for inviting me.
I'm really glad to have you back. Just tell us just briefly, so people who aren't familiar with you or AmazingRibs.com know who you are and what you do and where you live and all that.
Oh, okay. Well, I am Max Good, Keeper of the Flame. I'm the Director of Equipment Reviews for AmazingRibs.com. And I'm hopeful that most of your listeners know about AmazingRibs.com. If you love barbecue, you're going to be very interested to visit our website. So if you haven't, please do so. Anything you need to know about barbecue is right there. And I'm in charge of grills and smokers, testing and reviewing them. We never take any money, unlike many of these bloggers. You know, they just take money, you know, and then they put up a review and try to sell the stuff. That's not what we exist for. We exist to give objective, informative, useful reviews of equipment that we've tested. And we call them like we see them. You know, anybody that sends us a product to review, they have to agree in writing that we are going to post it, whether it's bad or good. And, you know, occasionally we've had some run-ins, not often. Most of the manufacturers are true to their word and accept our ultimate appraisal. But we have had a few that got pretty nasty with us, Darren. At any rate, we live for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking for any kind of, you know, tongs, I don't usually review many of the accessories. I'm mostly on the grills and smokers. But in addition to that, we got fantastic recipes. We have a whole crew of people that are working for us that are experts in their field. I know you've had some of them on, like Clint Cantwell, and of course, Meathead, who owns the site. So please come visit us. It's a great time of year to spruce up your grilling skills.
Yeah, and the Pitmaster Club is a real bargain. It's the I guess you'd still call it it's more like the bulletin board systems where, you know, it's a group of people that, you know, love barbecue, love talking about barbecue, all kinds of stuff is shared. And it's, you know, $26 a year or something like that. It's
24.
Yeah, 24 bucks. I've been a member of it for years now, and I'm always going in there and talking about barbecue. One of the things I love about AmazingRibs.com is it's open to factual information. It's not tradition based, or, you know, you got to cook everything the way I want you to cook it. You know, everything has got some kind of science based, you know, backed up to it. And that's one of the things I love about Meathead, and I'm the same way. if you tell me I'm cooking it this way, you tell me why I'm cooking it this way and why it works best, or why smoke, attracts, to meat a certain
Hmm.
way. And that's what I love about Amazing Ribs. It doesn't go just, use mustard because I said so kind of thing. It gives you reasons why to use whatever and to cook the way you do and the way they suggest. But and I've talked to Meathead about this several times. That's why his book is so popular, because
Yes.
it gives you the reasons behind stuff. And people like me want to know that. It's not just, I saw this one guy, butter age a steak, can you tell me why butter aging is better than dry aging, or what it does different than wet aging? Well, no, but it looks cool,
Yeah,
there's
it's sort of like the wrap everything in bacon mentality too, like
yeah, yeah,
let's just go over the top and it's going to be great. Well, yeah, but
yeah.
uh
There's got to be
like
some kind of reason, and why it's better. It's not just
yeah,
because of a
there's
cool effect.
some traditional recipes and techniques, and we'll touch on them too, but if they don't work, if we check them out and they don't work, we'll we'll let you know that, and we'll tell you why. One of the big ones, as you probably know, Darren, that we get a lot of flack about is beer can chicken.
Right.
We really just say don't do it. And if even on its surface, if even people who love it, I know it looks cool. How you can't deny that it looks cool. You open up the lid, there's this chicken stuck on a beer can. It looks cool.
I
But
know.
stop and think about it, guys. That you're not yeah, that beer, for it to steam, has to boil.
Yeah.
And if you get it hot enough to boil, you're going to burn the bottom of that chicken. And
Right.
now you've closed off the interior cavity, so it's not cooking. So you're going to overcook the outside anyway by the time that the center gets cooked. So it just doesn't work. But
Yeah.
things like that, and okay, that doesn't mean you can't cook chicken. We have a lot of great chicken recipes that
Yeah.
make a lot more sense and produce more delicious results. So
Yeah.
there again,
Well, and people can, if you want to cook, beer can chicken, I tell people, or if you want to cook anything a certain way that you like to cook it, go right ahead, but don't tell me it's better just because there's a beer can in there. Because I can tell you that the beer can's doing nothing, and it's not even moisturizing the interior of the chicken like
right,
people think.
right,
I mean, it's just, if you like doing it that way, you know, have fun doing it, but don't go out and say, well, you got to do it this way, because that's the things that I don't like, is when people go, you have to do something a certain way because it's the best way.
yeah,
Cooking
it's
is
like
so subjective.
folklore.
Well, and cooking is so subjective, and tastes are so different. That's one of the reasons why I've never, participated in these barbecue competitions or
Mhm,
steak cook-offs and stuff, because even though you have these judges and they have these set of guidelines that they're going by, it's still subjective. That's
mhm,
still
mhm.
each individual taste. And, sometimes, in those things, you got to go over the top to try to make
Well, yeah, the
your,
competitions are like that. Like
yeah,
many of the even the winners would say, when I'm competing, I cook for the judge. I would never cook like this at home or at my
exactly.
restaurant because people would drop dead at the table from all over. Hey, I should mention too, just recently we started, in addition to everything you can go and see at Amazing Ribs and get all kinds of great recipes. We've come up with some ebooks, and they're only $3.99 on Amazon, and you can find all about it at our website too. When you'll get links to Amazon to purchase them. But we've got everything you want to know about ribs, chicken. Sous vide is a big one that's kind of coming on. I won't say it's coming on strong, but more and more people are enjoying sous vide. It's an interesting technique.
Well, that's my new book, is sous vide and
Oh,
barbecue. So that's what my whole fire and water cooking is about.
I love
And
your
I actually
logo.
got I have a lot of amazingribs.com links in here. I've
Oh.
mentioned Meathead in here. And Meathead was one of my inspirations of putting that together. And definitely have listed Meathead's 399 quick start guide on sous vide Q in my website and everything too. And that's another thing too. If you join the Pitmaster Club, I believe he gives those books away on if you join the Pitmaster Club. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's there's a lot of goodies if you join the club. And again, $24 a year, not a month.
right,
And not only do you get a wonderful community of like-minded barbecue kooks like
Yeah.
Darren and me, hopefully. And a lot of these people become friends. Some of them actually, before this horrible pandemic, would hang out. They go, "Hey, you live in my neighborhood," and they'd get together. But even if you live in a different country, the communication, the camaraderie is excellent. I every morning I start my day answering reader questions and comments at our website and in the PID and on our YouTube videos. And it's just neat to see how excited people get and how the spirit of camaraderie and the love of barbecue, that shared love. And a lot of people start to get kind of personal too. "Hey, how's your son doing? I'm sorry your
Yeah.
dog died. That's a drag." That's it's neat. But then in addition to that, every month, every member is automatically enrolled in our sweepstakes with a first, second, and third prize. First prize, I put all those together, and they're grills and smokers. And believe me, Darren knows there's some really nice ones that you can
Oh
get
yeah.
there. And I'm talking about, around $1,000 or more.
Hmm.
Some of the manufacturers put together bundles where you get their smoker plus, wood and all kinds of goodies. And then our second prize is like digital thermometers. And we got a fireboard. We got cool stuff. Third prize is some excellent goodies, coupons for gourmet meats. My own Black Swan barbecue sauce that goes out every month to the third prize winner, amongst other things.
Which I have tried and is awesome. I love it. It's
Oh, thank
really
you.
great stuff. And we'll talk about that later on in the show. But I want to get back into what you do for Amazing Ribs. And how long have you been with Amazing Ribs now?
Oh boy, almost 10 years. I was Meathead's first employee. And back then the site is nothing like what it is now, but it was already starting to take off. Um, we had met, well, because I mentioned my Black Swan barbecue sauce, which is separate from Amazing Ribs. That's little old me and my wife. We're still kind of small, we're not as big of a deal as Amazing Ribs. But one thing led to another, and I'd found the AmazingRibs.com and called him up and said, "Hey, we should get together," and we did. And next thing I know, he said, "Hey, this website's really taken off. Do you think you'd lend me a hand?" I said, "Oh yeah, it sounds like fun." So here we are, almost 10 years later. And I juggle a lot of things, but each year we try to make it so I can get a little more focused on just testing and reviewing grills and smokers. And I've actually started enlisting some of our crew to help out because there's just so many products. I can't keep up with them all. And this year it's just escalated beyond
Yeah.
belief. New designs, exciting new designs, and great traditional old designs that are. It's if all I ever did was test and review, I still couldn't touch on them all.
Yeah.
But we're trying to focus a bit more in. So what happens is, uh, in the early days, sometimes we'd buy things, but now all the manufacturers know AmazingRibs.com, and they're basically beating my door down. So I have to pick and choose, and we try to find the things that we think are the most interesting, most innovative. We do some luxury stuff that's well beyond the price tags of most of our readers, but we feel it's interesting and also important. But I do really like to focus on the type of stuff that most people would buy, something that's not $20,000 or it's really strange that does one thing,
Yeah.
unless that one thing is really good. So we just try to bring out products that are contenders basically for 90% of the people that are at the website.
That's kind of what I do, and I share your philosophy, Amazing Ribs philosophy about, you know, I take products to review from manufacturers. I do have a couple sponsors that I actually like because I pick my sponsors very carefully. I make sure that the products they offer are something I care that I
Mhm.
love, I'll use myself, and that I don't have a problem with suggesting them to people and saying this is a good product. And people that follow me know that when I suggest something, I've tested it, I use it myself, and I swear that it's going to be something that they like. I've had lots of people send me junk, and I've got somebody who sent me this little thing right now, and you'll never guess what this little thing is. I guarantee you, because it's not barbecue related, but this thing is a little tiny vacuum sealer,
Huh.
and it goes with these little bags that are reusable, and it plugs into it and it vacuum seals this thing. But I have people send me this stuff all the time to test out, and I'm like what you do is I tell them, look, I'll review your product, but if it's not good, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to give you a glowing review for a free product. I don't do that. If you send me
Mhm.
something to review, I'm going to tell you what I like. I'm not going to just trash it just to trash it, but I'm going to tell the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
What I like about it. If it has any redeeming qualities, I'll point them out. But if it has things that I don't like, or it has issues or things that I don't care about, I'm going to point them out, because my reputation is a lot more important to me than getting a free product. So,
Right, right. Yeah.
and that,
Well, as you know, we're right there with you.
yeah,
We would never, our integrity is our currency. If people who know AmazingRibs.com like us because they know they can trust us. And yeah, sometimes it boils down to an opinion. I've said I think this thing stinks, and some people jumped in and said I own it and I love it, and I'm well,
yeah,
I don't know,
it's just like cooking,
yeah, and vice versa.
right.
This is great, and I got one and it's falling apart, and I'm like, I mean, I
Yeah,
try to deal with that because sometimes uh, nothing is perfect. No one product is loved by 100% of everyone, and I understand that. But I mean, if I see a trend, I always do part of my testing process, or even pre-test before I agree to take something, is to see what other people are saying. Have been occasions where a product's been on the market, and I'll look around the internet, and people review stuff on the internet. I bought this thing and it's great. I bought this thing, it's okay. I bought it and it stinks. Well, okay, there seems to be an awful lot of people who bought this who hate it. Why?
yeah, right,
Well, it was damaged in shipping. Okay, that's not the fault of the product,
right.
but so that's part of my assessment. Yeah, usually, most of the products that we bring in, we'll just have a range. Most people who buy something end up liking it. That's confirmation bias, and we understand that. You don't want to say, well, I bought this thing and it's a piece of junk. I made a mistake. People don't want to feel that way about their decisions. Um, but most products will have some people that hate it, some that are like it's okay, and most people like what they bought.
Right. And that goes down to the brand people, that will buy something like, I always relate it to the Ford and Chevy people,
Mhm.
that,
Yeah, yeah.
that their dad always bought Chevys and their granddad bought Chevys. So they're a Chevy family, and they
Mhm.
don't want to look at anything else, and they'll trash everything else. There's a lot of that, and not just in barbecue, but any products. I see
Well,
it
it's like
in the sous
sports
vide
teams.
circulator. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
teams. Like rah rah rah. I'm a Chevy guy. So and
Eh,
that's fine.
Yeah, and you're gonna have that. So I mean, there's gonna be some people. I mean, it's just you can tell when it's that type of person. Especially in the barbecue groups, it'll be like, you in a pellet grill group, it'll oh, Rectech, you got to buy a Rectech. Rectech's the best in the world. And it's like, okay, it's got some redeeming qualities to it, but it's there's other pellet grills out there that are
Oh yeah.
just as good, or if not better, and have other things that so.
The
But
pellet grill market has just continued. Each year I go, it's exploding. Well, it's exploding again this year. It's probably going to explode more next year. I mean,
uh,
people are discovering how wonderful and easy pellet grills are to use. That you too, for yeah, they cost a little more than a charcoal grill, but boy, oh boy, they're a kitchen oven outdoors with smoke. You just set the temperature and walk away. And, nowadays you get the stuff that's got Wi-Fi. You can be sitting drinking beer, watching a football game while it's a blizzard outside, and you're monitoring your brisket out there or your ribs or whatever from your smartphone.
Exactly.
For less money, I mean, geez, there's a brand called Pit Boss that's taken off over the last few years. They're an offshoot from Louisiana Grills, which is sort of their top of the line. And they were one of the first that came out with pellet smokers, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
But they came up with Pit Boss as the idea that we want to make a decent grill that's entry level, because a lot of people were like, I can't, median price was about $600 or something. A lot of people didn't know what they were and going, geez, why the heck is it so expensive? I'm not spending $600-700 on this thing. So they didn't bring it down to $100, but they brought it. You can get some of their products for, I've seen them getting blown out at hardware stores for under $300, and they're more stripped down. They don't have that Wi-Fi capability I just described, but they'll still work. And they're still thermostatically controlled. And it's a nice way for somebody who has a limited budget to get to know what pellet smokers do. And let me tell you, for those who don't know, they can, I mean, it's literally like your kitchen oven. You just set the temperature, walk away, go to AmazingRibs.com, make sure you prep your meats right, get the spicing right, trim everything right, know what temperature you want to cook at. Ribs are going to be low, like 225, chicken's going to be like 350, things of that nature. But that thing will do the rest for you as long as you keep it operational, Darren.
Yeah, keep it clean. But you're right. I mean, and all the technology now that's been put out there, and I'm sharing the screen now of Amazing Ribs, so we're going to kind of walk through what's going on at AmazingRibs.com so people can understand. But I mean, with pellet grills, it gets the people who didn't like messing with charcoal and really didn't like the gas grills because, they were easy to use, but you didn't have that, smoky flavor, and, they would rot out every couple years, and you'd have to spend another $70-80 to get the new burners to put in there and all. So maintaining was a pain. So the pellet grills now is that, it's easy for somebody to start doing right away, and you get that smoky flavor. So there's a lot of things now that just get more people involved. It makes it easier for them. It makes them feel more comfortable, cooking on their backyard than they did before. So that's what's making this, the whole market for outdoor cooking is just growing, more and more because of all the innovation that's being thrown at it. So let's talk a little bit about AmazingRibs.com. I got it pulled up here. This is the main screen. When you go to AmazingRibs.com, you'll see all the information. The first thing is the meetup in Memphis.
Yes.
So let's talk about that. That's going to be a really big event. It was supposed to go on this year, of course, but everything went to crap this year for any kind of event like this, has gone to heck. So, it's rescheduled for 2021 in August, but it's already sold out. But there is a waiting list, you said?
Oh, yes. As a matter of fact, we encourage everybody who would like to go to get on the waiting list because, we anticipate something inevitably will happen, and some people will cancel out, and you will be next in line. So please join up. You won't lose any money if it doesn't come through for you. We'd love to see you. It's going to be a great time. 5 days of fun in Memphis at the Peabody Hotel, the historic Peabody. It's beautiful. You want to check them out. There's a lot of links right there at the page you're looking at. And and there's our first meetup in the Bahamas, which was a blast. And that's a funny video. They did a reenactment of what was that Tom Hanks film where he was stranded on an island.
Oh no, I know which one you're talking about. No, it looks like that was Splash though, but I think it was.
There was a little blend of. You'd have watch the video and you'll see what I'm saying. It's pretty funny. And there's good old Mark Lambert with his red box smoker.
Yep. And you're going to have Malcolm Reed on there and all
Hmm.
as well. And I know I had Malcolm on before. So it's going to be a great time. So make sure you guys, when you go to Amazing Ribs, check out the meetup in Memphis. Get all the information you can on that and get on the waiting list if it's something you want to do. But
Yes.
it's definitely looks like it's going to be fun. Uh, so one of the things I want to talk about, because we are in the holiday gift giving season here, so you got a couple things that I like talking about with you, especially since you do these. We're going to talk
Mhm.
about the best new barbecue and grilling products for 2020. You guys just put this out there for 2020.
Just yesterday, I think. Yeah.
I got
Uh,
the email. So yeah, make sure you sign up for the emails, the smoke signals with Amazing
yes.
Ribs.
Yes, please do.
And that's free. You know, you don't have to buy anything when you sign up for that. They will send you an email once a month that goes through all the, all the anything to do with barbecue, outdoor cooking. Sometimes it doesn't even have to be outdoor cooking. So anything Meathead decides to put in there. But I'm going on the list here. So this is your 2020 best
Mhm.
new
Best new
products.
products. Now, this is not our gift guide, but this is we
Right.
just came out with this, so it's
And like you said before, not all of these are super expensive. A lot of this stuff is, you know, affordable for most people. I mean, that's
well,
some of the
case in
stuff is
point, that first one, that Cuisinart three in
right.
one
It's at the
stainless
big box
fiber.
stores, so yeah.
That's about 350, I think. It's a Walmart exclusive. And I'll tell you, if you want a gas grill in that price range, that thing has a nice temperature range. A lot of low cost gas grills cannot sear. This one can. And the heat, most gas grills, actually, the heat's concentrated towards the center back. And some, it drops off so much as you get to the front. It's almost like you got a two-zone setup there, which is okay, if the price is right and it works for you. This one, the heat is very even, front to back, side to side, and they throw in some real nice goodies. The foremost being this gigantic cast iron griddle, and for that price, I mean, you could pay $50 easy just for that griddle. And for those of you who haven't done any griddling, you should.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's a blast and it works great. And it's not just for bacon and eggs. I mean, you don't get griddles do a great job searing. If you're anything that's small like shrimp or veggies or something that are always falling through your grates, they won't fall through that thick cast iron griddle. So you can do a lot of cool stuff when you're griddling. And fish, like we love salmon. Who doesn't? It's nice just having that solid surface. It releases very nice. You get it nice and crispy on both sides. I like to do it without skin, Darren. Don't tell
Yeah.
anyone. All the purists will be mad at me, but I like it crusty on both sides. And you get that with a griddle. And we have a lot of griddling techniques. I mean, just you see the search box in the upper corner there. You just type in griddle and
Yeah.
you'll find griddles, you'll find griddling techniques,
Well,
you
and
find some
that's
griddle
another thing
recipes.
too. On something like this, if you go to the left side of the
Mhm.
page, any manufacturer you want to look up, you just click on that. Any type of grill is listed, any fuel source, any price range you're looking
Mhm.
for, capacity. You can search by, you
There's
know,
our awards.
your awards.
Yeah.
I mean, the way to be able to search through this is amazing. So right underneath that, you got the Landman, which is a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a higher end, but I think it's about, now I can't remember. I want to say 1,500, something like that.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful one. Some very subtle design features and people are probably, Landman is known also for low cost upright smokers. You get in
Mhm.
Cabela's and places like that. Some people that are familiar with those products by Landman will be surprised at this. They do have some very beautiful high end stuff, innovative designs. This one is just cosmetically beautiful, functionally beautiful. If you want a gas grill in this range, definitely take a look at our review for that. I keep harassing them because I go to the HPB Expo every year, and they're always there with all this great stuff. And I go, you guys, they're a German company. Everything's made in China, but it's made very well in China. They oversee it and makes just like Weber does, and make sure it's good stuff. Um, but I go, look at all this great stuff. And all I ever see of your stuff, everything I see that has the Landman name on it is a $150 upright smoker at the Bass Pro or something like that, or some smaller hardware store chain. When are you guys going to roll this stuff out? And, well, we're here, we're there, we're, on QVC and stuff. I go, come on, guys, what's with you? I don't. But when we put them on, they were very happy that they were selected, and we're sending all this material over to our headquarters in Germany. I go, well, tell them to get on the ball over here in the United States. We'd like to see more of your stuff, more of your high-end stuff.
I'm going to skip the slow and sear kettle because I had Dave on not too long ago,
okay.
and we
That
talked
is
about
nice.
that. Yeah, that's nice. He's got some good innovative stuff on there, but I had him on a couple months ago, and we talked about that extensively. But one of the things I want to talk about is the Hasty Bake, because I really never heard of Hasty Bake until I saw, Meathead's review on Amazing Ribs, and I was unaware that Hasty Bake has been around since 1949 with pretty
48.
much. Yeah, or 48, and pretty much the similar type design. They've tweaked it here and there throughout the years, but I mean, it's one of the most innovative designs of a smoker that I've ever seen, and I can't believe that I never seen one before until I found it on. But I guess even now, and I talked to Nick, Parsons over at the Hasty Bake. I had him on my podcast not too long ago as well, and I guess they're just one of those kind of companies that kind of just stuck around where they made them in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Anywhere around Oklahoma and even some of the touching states, people know about them and love them, but they really didn't venture out too far. Kind of like what you're talking with Landman. I think they really haven't done a really great job of marketing themselves out there to the masses. And I have the Gourmet 257 stainless, and I love the dang thing, man. You can do so much, and it's so versatile. And I know Meathead has the 357 Pro, and he loves that thing. But
he's never going to let that one go. He's in love, and now that's more expensive, but it's solid 304 top quality stainless steel grill.
It's going to last you forever. Yeah. So
it's a beauty, but it's basically the same thing they came up with in 1948. It is an innovative design. It's just one of those things where they nailed it right out of the gate, I think. And I'm sure they've made tweaks over the years. But I mean, even some of the cosmetics to it look a little old fashioned. Which is nice, it's a history. But yeah, you can see that crank on the left there, that raises or lowers the charcoal grate. So you can drop it down low if you're wanting to roast something at a low temperature. It can be used as a smoker. You see that door on the right? You open that door, you got complete access to the charcoal tray. You can throw wood in there. Replenish your fuel. There's an ash pan underneath to easy clean out, storage under that. It's just a beautiful system.
Well, the vent system, for them to design that vent system back then, it's just, and you don't see that where you got the bottom vent here that goes in by the fire, but the smoke actually comes up in convections here and then comes out down here. So you never, like even the Webers, everything comes out the top. Everything goes out the top. So the smoke just goes boop, goes right up and out. And, but this is kind of forced to, convect inside the box and then go back out. And so there's some really innovative stuff that's been out there with them. And I'm starting to see a lot of some of the other manufacturers are starting to mimic some of the things on the Hasty Bake, like the adjustable charcoal basket. Now, you got the M1s that kind of, the M1 kind of took what Hasty Bakes does and kind of made it more expensive, I guess.
Well, they did some neat things. They have the firebox in the bottom where it's part of this
turn it into a smoker.
They took the idea. They basically took a Hasty Bake and said, well, let's put an offset firebox on it, except we won't. We'll actually put the firebox at the bottom underneath. But I mean, I give them credit. It's um, it's a riff on what Hasty Bake did, but they made it their own, and
Right.
it's a very well made unit. And yeah,
And you can see some even the cheaper models now that you see some in some of the
yes.
big box stores are starting to have that adjustable charcoal box. So
Well, for many years, even real cheap stuff like Char Griller, they've had these. You have to manually do it with handles, but you can from the cooking grate you can grab handles on either side and pull up the charcoal grate and bring it closer to what you're cooking, or drop it down. And it just is the handles stop on latched points along the
right.
sides of the grill. So that kind of idea has been around forever. Obviously, with the cranking system, there's more mechanical parts, and it's neat. And yeah, it's not a $150 unit either, though.
Right.
But
Well, and I don't want to go on every single one of these because we'd be here all day. But
uh,
if you go to the top picks for 2020 and new products, I mean, it just shows you the different types of grills that are out there. You got these, you got a vertical pellet smoker, and then you got a regular, a Mac, which is a top of the line pellet smoker. You got the Argentinian type
and
grill with the
that's a really neat one.
Nuki,
Everybody should go to our website and take a look at that. That's pretty cool.
and then you got the Fireboard and some of these other top of the line innovative technology stuff that is out there now. And then you got the little attachments like the pellet, the Sear Daddy, for your pellet
Mm.
grills to make it be able to sear. So there's a lot of cool stuff now that, if you haven't looked at outdoor cooking products in the last, or if you're just stuck looking at the stuff that's available in Walmart or Home Depot, you really need to go to Amazing Ribs and check out what all the stuff that's out there now. So is this the
Uh-huh. Gift.
best gifts for barbecue and grilling? Let's go into that because it's that time of the year, and I'm sure there's people out there listening that are wanting to know what is out there that they should pick up. And
And we only included products that got our top ratings, our best platinum medal and our gold medal. And for your convenience, we've broken it into price categories. So, you want a little thing for just somebody under
yeah,
$50. I just thinking of you, and I know you like to barbecue, get them that. And it goes up from there.
a second cousin, yeah, that's
Yeah,
and then if you want, something for your husband or wife, or
oh, there's that
hey,
Cuisinart gas grill
yeah.
we talked
So
about earlier.
so how many products is it just everything that's a platinum and gold?
No. We talked about it, and I don't know. Part of it again. There's some subjectivity that comes into play here. Well, what about this? We did that last year. What about this? Well, that's new and it's interesting. Things. Well, okay. Well, maybe we did it last year, but this is really cool and it makes a great gift. All right, we'll do it again this year. So we just bang some ideas around and come up with a list that we think will be useful to. We're just trying to give people information they can use,
Yeah.
accurate information they can use.
Well, and the good thing, look, he's even got his sous vide in there. He's got the jewel.
Ah, there you go.
So, but yeah, so that just goes to show you got a little bit of everything. If you're just not focused on, one or two things. I mean,
Mhm,
it gives a
mhm.
little bit of different,
Right. Well, again, the range.
yeah,
That's what when I say everything you want to know about barbecue and grilling is at AmazingRibs.com. You will not find another more comprehensive, detailed, accurate source for information about barbecue and grilling than AmazingRibs.com. And I don't hesitate to say that. In fact, I most people, even in the media, Forbes magazine, many others agree with us and use us as a resource.
which is kind of scrolling through the more expensive
Uh,
stuff. So you got a different, different size and types of, grills in here.
mhm.
So people can, whatever you're looking for, if it's a charcoal smoker, if it's a gas grill, if it's something that can do everything, you got a little bit of everything. It's like I have a PK. I love my
Uh,
PK, and
yeah.
it can do just about anything, but there's certain things it does exceptionally well. I use it for grilling mostly because it's got the, you can get right close to the fire. And I know that they're really popular on the steak cook-off
Yeah, I was
circuit.
about to say that. You mentioned the competition guys. That's the
Right.
preferred grill for steak competitions. I've got their new riff on their portable, their PK Go.
Yeah.
And I'm finishing the review of that. It's very nice. It's really based off that one we're looking at, only smaller, and it's not
Yeah.
doesn't have quite the versatility, but it's a nice system.
So yeah, you got the Kamados in
Yeah.
here, a couple different kinds. The Caribbean, I know that you love that, but I know
Oh,
Meathead stole that from you. So
you recall my
yeah,
frustration. He said, "Yeah, but that is an amazing. There's nothing else like it.
yeah,
If you feel like you'd like to burn wood and go, I want to get an offset stick burner, but I hear they're really hard to operate. They are, and this one is not exact. Well, you have to keep feeding wood
yeah.
to it every
You
half
see it over
hour.
here on the right too.
But
So
it does the rest. I don't want to say it's a pellet smoker-ish thing.
well,
The
it's got a
design-
convection fan in there, so that it's similar to even what the gravity fed does because it uses a convection fan to channel the smoke a certain way that makes it different than
and what it does, as you obviously know, is even people that are award-winning competition people, even restaurants that are known for their barbecue and they're cooking over wood, it's still tough for them. They have their setups, their down, but you have to do it right. Wood is more finicky than any other fuel for a variety of reasons, and this thing eliminates the skill. You just have to babysit it a bit, and as the inventor had said, if people complain and say, "But why do I have to keep coming to it every half hour and putting in wood?" If you don't want to do that, get a pellet smoker.
right.
What I have done, Bill Carew, who invented it, he said, what I've done is made it possible for any schmo off the street, basically, to get competition quality wood smoked meats first time, every time. And
Yeah, and very easily, you not have to worry about it, like you said.
and really, and I think Bill would even agree with me. After it's something's been on there about 3 hours, or even maybe a little more if you want to, it's not going to take on much more smoke and color anyway. So that's the time I wrap it up and throw it on the grill or bring it into my kitchen or whatever and finish it off there rather than having to keep stacking the wood, because now the Caribbean has done its job. I am here to tell you, the aroma and flavor is unequaled. It's ambrosia. I call it Caribouquet.
But but then again, that's one of those things that it can't do everything for you.
Oh yeah, you can't sear steaks on it.
Right.
And
So
now I see you're on to some of our great recipes. Now I don't do recipes. I only have one.
I'm just actually just scrolling down from the front page here. So it's got that's just whatever's listed on the front.
Well,
But I'm kind of looking at the side here. If you look at the far right side, from
Mhm.
anywhere when you're on Amazing Ribs, it has a lot of these,
Yeah, that's
top picks and stuff like that. So people can always just when they're looking at even the articles, they can see some of this stuff and some of the top picks and
some of the ones
why.
we're talking about. And these are not paid advertisements. These are products that we really
Yeah.
like.
And it clicks right to the review. So you can go, if you see something that catches your eye like that one, you just click on the review and it takes you to the detailed review that you do. And I know I like the way you do your reviews because you do a short video that kind of walks through a lot of the benefits of it. And then you have a more detailed review that you write up and you send people to that and you link it in your video. So they can go to YouTube and look up something and they'll see your smiling face and and then you'll do a mini review of what you can show them and walk around, and then you send them to the detailed review that's on Amazing Ribs, which goes into a lot more, which it's a lot easier to write stuff up than it is.
Well, yeah, otherwise we got to have a Hollywood production.
Yeah, exactly.
And we don't have a video for everything.
More of the better stuff, or yeah.
Well, it's more like a timeline. For the first few years, we weren't doing video, and then it just sort of trickled in. And now anything I test, I do a video first. And what I try to do, we're not always successful. What I try to do is right out of the box. I start doing my video before I've even cooked on the thing. Now, Meatheads, as I mentioned, some of the other guys do test and review things too. And I'll have to go down to Meathead's place occasionally, and he's already started cooking his brains out on it. So it won't be pristine and new,
Right.
but I still do my routine and go, here it is the front, here's under the lid, here's what it does, But I try to keep them, more around 5 minutes or something, just to show you what the thing looks like. We call them virtual showroom videos. Like
Right.
if you were to walk up to this thing, what you'd see.
Yeah.
And I probably go more detailed than most people would at Home Depot. I take them apart and go stick my nose in it and the whole bit, but.
And it's more important for like the things like the Caribbean that you can't go somewhere and look at yourself. So
I don't have a video for that. That was one of our older.
but some of the stuff that you do, I mean, it's, if it's hard to find somewhere locally to go actually look at it, that's the thing, some of these things aren't sold, at the local Walmarts
Right.
or Home Depots or Lowe's. Some of this stuff is sold in, exclusive barbecue shops or only online or something like that. So you gotta, if you can't really find it anywhere, you gotta have somebody show it to you online so you can actually do it. And that's what I like about it as well.
Okay.
So yeah, make sure you guys go to amazingribs.com, check out all the different reviews, the top equipment for 2020, and the holiday, barbecue and grilling gift guide for anything that you're looking for. But also sign up for the Pitmaster Club. Check out all the amazing recipes and everything that's on there. I mean, there is so much information, even on the free side. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't
And
have to.
I want to add the Pitmaster Club. We have 30-day free trial too. So if you don't like it, you don't have to pay.
Right.
So yeah, give us a try. If you're love barbecue,
But
come
I mean,
on in.
even just for those free deep dive books, I mean, it pays for itself to be in the Pitmaster Club, because I know
agree.
he just did one on chicken too. So
Mhm.
the sous vide Q one was the first one you did, and I bought that. I didn't even download it for free. I paid for it because I told Meathead it's worth me paying for it, because it's something, and I used some of his stuff in my book, and I gave him a lot of credit because he was one of the first ones, and him and Clint, to embrace mixing the cooking methods. And it's very hard for a lot of these traditional barbecue guys to wrap their heads around, doing anything different,
Yeah.
They,
Well, some of them like the challenge. They like staying up all night. Sleeping in a chair and with an alarm going off telling them they better get up and check. They enjoy that, and that's okay. Whatever clicks your clock. But
right. Yeah, and that's too. Like I tell everybody, you're more than welcome to do that, but don't trash somebody who's trying
Right.
something different. I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind of silly to say, well, because I mean, even I've talked to a lot of people at barbecue competitors. I've had Malcolm on, and we talked about this, and he's like, "Yeah, you do whatever you want. I'll do the way I do it, and I'll try anything." So everybody seems to think that you have to cook the way some of these competitors cook, or you're not doing it right. Well,
And then the competitors cook different ways too.
yeah, and
So
and they understand, if there's 150 million different ways to cook a chicken, and to cook a brisket, and to cook ribs. I mean, and not every one of them is the way.
yeah.
If
Well,
you sat there, if you ate Johnny Triggs competition ribs, you'd get sick, because there's so much stuff he dumps on there that's not for everyday
for the
cooking. So
judges, yeah.
yeah, so I mean, who wants to put honey and agave and parquet and all the stuff he layers on there and try to serve that to your family? They'd
Yeah,
throw up.
they got one bite. So they
Yeah.
got to take out one bite. They want to knock his tongue right out of his head, basically.
But I mean, a lot of people get locked in. It's not just barbecue guys. There's regular, the French cook, you can only cook it the way we cook in France. No, there's a million different ways to cook a duck. So let's talk a little bit, since we're moving on to food and seasonings. I'm going to share my screen again, and we're going to talk about your, oops, I hit the wrong. Hey, all, it's Darren, and today I want to talk about the Inkbird Wi-Fi, rainproof 4 Pro barbecue thermometer that's brand new. The IBB Q4T has a rechargeable battery that can last up to 26 hours once it's fully charged, and you can monitor it from pretty much anywhere with the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi that it uses. It comes with the brand new Inkbird Pro app that you can monitor your meat and the temperature of the grill from pretty much anywhere, from your house, anywhere in the house, from your office, from the store, driving down the street. Inkbird makes some really awesome barbecue products, and this one is no exception. Check it out below with the link to Amazon. You can use the code that's listed for $30 off, making it only $70. Check out Inkbird and all their products. Now back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So we're going to move on to the, I want to talk about your seasonings. We kind of brought this up earlier, and we're going to talk about your gourmet seasonings here. And we're going to share
thank you.
the Black Swan gourmet barbecue sauce. And you said you started this way before you were on Amazing Ribs.
Yeah. So, I just, people say, well, why, and I said, well, I always liked cooking, even from a young age. And because of that, whenever we'd get together, a lot of people would say, well, here, we're making hamburgers, we're drinking beer. You want to tend to grill? I go, yeah, sure. I just enjoy it. So one thing led to another, and I started making my own barbecue sauce just in my kitchen. And people were going, wow, this barbecue sauce is great, And my wife loves to tell the story. I love to tell it too, that on our second date, I invited her to a barbecue that a friend was having, and they said, make sure to bring some of your sauce, and she comes into my apartment, and I already have it simmering on my stove, and she takes a taste and goes, that's kind of lame. And she starts grabbing, my wife's Chinese, and she starts grabbing soy sauce and other, spices and dumping them in, and I was like aghast, but what can I say? She's beautiful. She's wonderful. I was already smitten with her. And the following day, my buddy calls me and goes, man, that's the best batch of sauce you ever made. And we're still together.
Couldn't argue with her, right?
So at any rate, people were just telling me, hey, this is so good, you ought to sell it. So I said, oh, well, hell, maybe I will. And I looked into it, started selling it, and we're still really small. But that's how I met Meathead. One thing led to another with the sauce. As I mentioned, I contacted him, and we got together, and when he needed help, he gave me a buzz, and here we are, still 10 years later.
So you started out with the savory original, I take
yes,
it. Yes,
you called that one, yeah. And then we expanded into sweet cognac, which is mild, and the Beso del Fuego, which is hot. And a nice thing or interesting thing about our sauces that many people immediately when they taste them notice is that it's very different because we use a lot of fresh pureed vegetables. It's not just powdered flavorings. There are some spices and powdered flavorings in them, but all three of these have fresh onions, garlic. The sweet cognac has pureed ginger. They're kind of different. You can see even the names, the labels are a little different. We export the stuff now. We're not in any really big chains here in the Chicago area. We're in a select group of Whole Foods, Heinen's, Pete's Fresh Market, and smaller stores. And anybody in the Midwest, though, if your favorite butcher shop or whatever wants to get this stuff, to go to our website and click on contacts and distributors. Our Midwest distributor is Fortune Fish and Gourmet here in the Chicago area, but they're all over the Midwest, and probably if anybody that lives in this area has seen their trucks zooming around. They don't just carry fish, they carry all kinds of good stuff.
But you're also, if they want to order this, they can order it from Amazon. You're on Amazon.
Yes, and at the Kansas City barbecue store as well. We have links for all of them. And of course, the nice thing about Amazon is the shipping deals.
Sure.
Right now at Amazon, we have a gift set, and it keeps selling out. And I should say, I don't actually sell on Amazon, we sell wholesale to another company that sells on Amazon, and they're really good at it. But it's sort of, we're getting a lot of people like to give away our gift sets for gifts at this time of year, and we're having trouble keeping it in stock. But he keeps, there's my wife. He keeps shipping them more. They keep selling them more. So go ahead and order it, and you should get it before Christmas, or send it out as a gift to somebody.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question, because how could you not get a platinum review for?
We didn't have platinum medals back then. We didn't, and indeed, he didn't give my original one a medal.
That stinks. I have to talk to Meathead about that.
He thought it was, I don't know what, I didn't argue with him. I was happy to get medals for the sweet cognac and the Bessa del Fuego. So he'll take what I could get. Well,
that just goes to show you didn't get preferential treatment, right?
Well, that is true. That is, well, actually, I'm trying to think. He might have rated them before I started working with him too. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Oh no, it must have been because he gave the gold medal. The gold medals didn't come around until after I was in the picture too. So it must have been after I'd already.
Well, I can tell you, I've tried them and they're delicious. And how hard is that to use, fresh ingredients? Because I know I've talked to some other people who make their own sauces and rubs and market them. And one of the biggest problems they have is finding the right company that can, produce it for them, and then do it to scale. Or, I talked to Malcolm Reed about when he first started doing his rub, and he was worried he had to order 400 cases and have it sitting in his garage, and hopefully he could sell it. Fortunately he was able to, and he's got expanded and he doesn't have to do it that way anymore. But, when you first get started, and especially if you're doing something like a sauce, it's a lot harder to market a sauce than a rub, because you got other things you have to worry about as far as through the USGA and all that. But how hard is it to find a supplier or a manufacturer that can do the fresh ingredients like you did?
Well, we were kind of lucky. We when I said, "Oh yeah, okay, I've heard it too often that I should sell this sauce. I'll figure out how to do it." And I not knowing anything about the business, I just started Googling stuff, and I found companies that made machines that you could cook sauces in, and they would fill the bottles, and they had some little thing at the end of the line where you'd put a cap on. I said, "Oh, I guess I need to buy one of these things." And they were $5,000 or something. So I call them up, and one of the companies up, and the guy's, "Oh yeah, yeah." And I go, "I'm not sure. What does this thing weigh?" "Oh, it weighs a gazillion pounds, and it's this big thing." "Well, I don't even know where I'm going to put it." "Put it in your garage," the guy tells me. I go, "Where am I going to get bottles?" He goes, "Oh, here, call these guys. They'll supply bottles for you." So, all right, let me think about this. I call the bottle guys. They go, "You're out of your mind. You don't want to make this stuff." He said, "Why don't you
make this in your garage?"
He said, "Call this guy up. He'll make it for you. He's an FDA approved facility." And I go, "Oh, so we've been with them." The only reason I don't tell people his name right now, because I think his business has taken off, and especially this year with the pandemic, they can't keep up with what they're doing. And I don't want to. When I met him, it was right time, right place. Yeah, we're still really small, but especially then, I just said, "Look, I'm dipping my toes into this. I'll work with you, And we've been with him all these years. It's been a good relationship. But one of the reasons we have glass bottles, and many people feel we should be using plastic, is because we use a lot of fresh vegetables. So he cooks them really hot, and it goes right from his vat into the glass bottle, and we don't use any preservatives at all. And our stuff is just a little different. A lot of people don't use fresh vegetables. The fresh vegetables drive the cost up, but pardon me, it's the flavor is worth it. Excuse my phone. But for people that want to do this, I would just say call around. What you're looking for is a co-packer. They're called co-packers.
Right. Yeah, there's plenty of them out there, but there's some of them, you pretty much got to use what they have. You can't really.
Well, they're all like that.
Yeah.
All of them have their own methods. They have their own equipment. They have their own suppliers. You know, it's like a simple thing like, well, what kind of a jar or bottle will I use? Well, okay, I buy these by the truckload, so I can get it to you for really cheap.
Right.
Well, I really want this one. Okay, well then that's going to add $1 per unit cost because I'm going to buy a couple cases of them for you, or one pallet of them for you specifically. So now you're shooting your costs up, you know, so you have to pick, I guess, what's most important to you.
Yeah.
You know, and if there are each co-packer's got their own methodology and their own suppliers, I guess is what it boils down to. And you give them your recipe, some will charge you and say, okay, just give me a bottle of what, put it in a ball jar and give it to me. And I'll tell you how we make it, and I'll make it and you could taste it and tell me if I got it right. And some of them have labs and they'll analyze it and they're pretty accurate. Our guy said, give me a recipe. And he warned me it was going to be hard. And I'll tell you, Darren, it was, because I was used to, you know, a little of this, a pinch of that, and all.
Yeah.
And
When you got to start measuring everything.
Yeah,
I know.
so I just brought
That's
out
the way I cook. I cook a little here, a little there, then I taste it and go, that's good.
I thought, so what? Okay, I'll bring out all my cups and my spoons and everything. And I go, okay, that looks about, all right, that's 1.5 tablespoons. Boom, you know, and I'm writing it down. I cooked the whole thing up and go, it tastes terrible. I went through it so many times. I couldn't believe how hard it was until I finally got it.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again, Max, for being on. We have gone a long time, but I really like talking about this stuff. I like talking about equipment and technology and things that are changing. And it just seems like every year there's something new, even though this was a pretty crappy year overall with all the things that have been going on with the pandemic and everything. But there still seems to be a lot of innovation still going on.
Mm-hmm.
There's still new products being, you know, made and invented and changed and tweaked. I mean, it just amazes me every time. I'm going to try to make it up to the what is it again? The
HPB Expo.
Yeah,
That's in
the
Louisville now.
Is it going to be in Louisville this year?
Yeah,
I thought it was in Nashville. Was it Nashville or last
it
year?
It was scheduled to be in Nashville, and then they and it was going to be, they normally have them in March, and they decided to push it back, I think, into June, and for whatever reason they had to relocate it to Louisville. But if it goes on, and you know, now we're getting glimmers of hope that maybe this vaccine is on the horizon here, and maybe we can start getting back to the kind of life we want. And so hopefully meetup in Memphis is going to happen. Hopefully HPB Expo is going to happen. You know, and yeah, maybe I'll see you there. Let me know. We'll have to hook up.
Definitely. I like to check out all the things that are out there that you can't really, you know, unless you're looking for them. You know, that's what I like about going to those type of events, is that you get to see this, you get to see the stuff that's, you know, maybe you don't get to see too often, or new stuff that's coming out, or changes that are being made to stuff that hasn't been made yet. So it's
Definitely.
I like those type of things. But make sure you guys check out Max Good on AmazingRibs.com. He is the keeper of the flame. Make sure you check out and join the Pitmaster Club. It's well worth it. And I really appreciate you being on, Max. I look forward.
It's my pleasure, Darren. Anytime.
Look forward to having you guys again on and talk about this stuff, because it's always a great conversation for sure. But thanks again. I appreciate you guys watching and listening, and I'll see you again on the next Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. Thanks again for joining us on the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I want to thank Max Good of AmazingRibs.com for being on. Make sure you check out the link below. Check out his sauce on Amazon below in the link. And make sure you follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and also follow the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. And check out the new Fire and Water Cooking book on Amazon.